Hello, everyone. My name is Owen Bryan Jr. I'm a poet, book author, and also currently a project manager in construction. And I present to you my message called Searching for the American Flag. This message in particular is more in reference to another look, another perspective on the stark decline in the recent 2021 Summer Olympics. As some of you may or may not be aware, this past Olympics, I remember seeing an article, had the lowest rated viewership prime time that NBC have seen since they started covering the Olympics in 1988. And reading the article, it pointed out a few reasons, a few issues that they believe was factors in the declined viewership for the Olympics, as the stars, sports stars like Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, the U.S. women's soccer team underperformed. Talked about the time difference in Tokyo, and I also seen. I would say that I didn't think NBC didn't do the best job of putting out notifications or just the ads are just letting people know it or that are aware of what events are happening or occurring when it was occurring live. You know, this time right now, more and more people are streaming or using other means of access like YouTube to watch their content, and I think NBC never really adjusted to that. So that's an aspect, a factor that I think played a role in the viewership decline. But the reason why I did this video and the reason why I named it Searching for the American Flag is because, based off of a story of mine, I think there's another underlying factor going on in this country that's also affected, that was also a factor in the sharp decline in the Olympics from 2016 to now 2021. And last year, just to give you a little more backdrop about myself, I'm a recent graduate at UCF back in 2016 in civil engineering. Last year, I was the president of a Toastmaster International Club. Some of you may or may not be aware what Toastmaster International is. It's an organization that helps with your public speaking skills. And being as president, typically at our meetings, and this was during the pandemic, so this was being held at Zoom, but even held in person, typically at Toastmaster meetings, typically at the beginning of Toastmaster meetings, there's a reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance to American flag. At the time, I didn't have my own little flag as such, so I went out to just go buy a simple flag. And what caught me by surprise, because I went to multiple places. I started out at Family Dollar. I went to a Exxon Mobil gas station. I know I went to Walmart, and I believe I went to one more place. What struck me just searching for a simple flag was, how am I here in America, in this country, and it was difficult for me, and how long it took. I had to keep driving around to different stores just to find a simple American flag. It struck me. It really did struck me. I remember going to Family Dollar, and they didn't have an American flag, but they did have Spanish flags. This is when I was in Orlando. I'm currently residing in Tampa, and I eventually got a flag, and I was able to presume on with the meetings and so forth. But seeing that, and then just seeing a lot of what I'll find in different coverage of news and outlets and coverages from different large media factions, it seems to me a growing population of people that are detached in a way from, or just losing pride of being Americans, or just this detachment of American pride. And I think that this growing, almost like detachment, the growing population of people that seem like they do not want to, how would I say, be proud to be American. It's to the point where it's very political, where you're just saying that you are American. You're proud to be live in this country. You're automatically labeled Republican or conservative. And it seemed like when I watch or listen to different news outlets or different media outlets that may lean on the faction on the left, it comes off when I hear rhetoric. It's always problems and issues being pointed out in this country, and you never hear a lot more positive. You never hear too much positives to talk about. And I think that can be a very big problem. I think going down the line, if there's a growing population and it continues goes this way, I think it's going to present a problem when it comes to solving issues in the future. Where how can one be invested to fix problems in America when one does not feel invested or prideful in actually being an American? And I wanted to talk about the Olympics because if there's one thing that I've learned living in America, I'm born and raised here, but I am descendants of Jamaicans. Both of my parents were born and raised in Jamaica. I've learned that sports it plays a big influence in driving parts of the culture. And I would say a lot has changed in America in 2016 to today. A lot has changed in just that short amount of time. And one thing I was saying, sports has gotten even very political since 2016. And I would say one of the big initial starter for that was when Colin Kaepernick took that knee, and it just started a wave of media storm, and things got very political when it comes to sports, and it got very divisive, and it's not as divisive as it was years during the Trump administration, but I would say that we're seeing the lasting effects of sports getting into that political realm today. And when seeing, like, let's say, I would say the NBA stars. The NBA right now, I'm a fan of watching basketball, but my interest has diminished. I would say the NBA stars have been some of the most vocal and some of the most active when it comes to social injustice and and civil rights activism. But some may say that played a factor in their ratings decline that you see today when you look at the finals ratings. I still watch the playoffs a little bit, but my interest has diminished a lot. But I bring that up because seeing athletes who are role models, whether they would like it or not or say it or not, there's a lot of people that look up to them, engage in these similar pursuits that I think have a indirect effect with driving that divide of the growing population of people that are having a detachment with America to ones that are just proud to be American. That led to also to play a part into the big diminished decline in Olympic ratings. It's very for me. If I'm someone that I'm losing interest and I don't feel proud to be American, it'll be tough for me to root for athletes that are representing my country if I don't feel proud to be American. That's the reason why I think that it's very difficult to continue on this country and to solve problems in this country when you have people that are losing the interest or losing pride of being American. And I don't even think this has to be a left and a right thing or conservative Republican, conservative liberal type of issue either. I don't think this has to be the case. If I present a message of coming together, if there's one thing, whether you're conservative, liberal, and you're in this country, you're American at the end of the day. You're American at the end of the day. And that's what I want to present with this message, searching for the American flag. It's searching for and remembering that no matter what your ideology is or what do you believe in, you're part of this country, you're American at the end of the day. That's my message. And also, I told you all in the beginning, I am a poet and book author. I am the author of the book Observation of the Moment, Analyzing Moments in Everyday Life Through Poetry. It's currently on Amazon. It's a collection of inspirational poetry based on lessons that I've learned in everyday life, as well as social commentary in the world today. Check it out, pick it up. It's on Amazon. And with that, I'll see you on the next video.